No Limit on Fox. The last few weeks have been a resounding success, and we've been getting fantastic viewers there. And now we've got the headliner in Isaac Hardman's going to be here to put on another show to tune in on a Wednesday night. Wednesday nights are for the fights, and No Limit on Fox will be back next week on Wednesday night with Isaac Hardman headlining, and he's promised fireworks, which I'm really excited about because he's got a tough fight. Got a very, very tough fight, and when you're at Isaac's level, there's no easy fights for you, but he's promised to turn on the show. So look, I'm waiting to see what comes, and really looking forward to a bit of entertainment from Isaac.
Thank you so much to George Rose. We will talk to Isaac Hardman now because, as mentioned, he does fight next Wednesday night, so it is the 9th of August. It's on Fox Sports, and he'll take on Japan's Kazuki Kayahara. Isaac, great to see you. How have preparations been for this fight? Because you've known about it for quite some time, and I know there's a certain edge to you in the lead up to this.
Yeah, good to see you too, Ben, and everyone here. Prep's been good. I'm getting back in people's faces and staying in it until they're on the ground with their toes pointing to the ceiling. So can't wait to get there next Wednesday, put on a show, and the old head splitter's back, the one that got me from 1 to 12. No more Mr. Nice Guy, I ain't doing that shit. I'm not here to appease other people by myself, and that's what I'll do.
Have you been enjoying watching the shows, knowing you were going to be a part of one of these boutique events?
Yeah, and I've heard the numbers have been great. They've been getting better every show, and they've left the best one to last, and we're going to blow the roof off. The numbers are going to be through the roof, and it's going to be great. And
you've got a bit of a catchphrase going into this fight as well. Sayonara to old mate.
Yeah, so I don't know much Japanese, but what I'm going to do is hit him with the Ichi ni san, and then it's Sayonara Kayahara. Back to Mount Fuji.
Very good. Anything else for us?
Nah, that's about it. That's all
good.
I got.
That's pretty good. Well, we look forward to seeing you in action, Isaac Hardman. That will be next Wednesday night, and you will see Isaac Hardman, the head splitter, is back. It'll be live on Fox Sports when he takes on Kazuki Kayahara. And then, of course, a couple of weeks later, we move to this show. So August the 23rd, a Wednesday night, live on Main Event. We'll talk to some of the fighters who are involved in this event now. We're going to start with Cohen Mazudia down there at the front table. Cohen, great to see you. Why is this a fight that the both of you wanted so much?
Yeah, cheers, Benny. Yeah, mate, I pretty much put a call out on Instagram to the whole super welterweight division. Just, it's been 5 months since the last fight where I fought Ben Marnie. We're the, 2 top-ranked guys in the division other than the man Tim over here. So, I was just looking for a fight. I wanted anyone and everyone, so I put the call out. Ben was the first to put his hand up, and I thought, I'll gift him the opportunity. As mentioned before, I'm ranked number 9 in the world. Ben hasn't got a ranking with anyone or anything. And I'm happy to give him the opportunity because I want to keep climbing. I want to test myself. He's a dangerous fighter. He's been around for a long time. So I think it's going to be a fun fight for myself and the fans.
What do you think of Ben Hussein from what you've seen of him as a professional?
He's dangerous in periods. He's got massive gaps in periods. He's long. Obviously, he's one of the ranges super welterweights here in Australia. So there's some size advantages. He's got some good skill, but yeah, man, look, as I said when we first talked, I think I'm going to knock his head off into the second row. My plan is to spin his chin like Daffy Duck and really show him a class above these Australian fighters.
I guess you've got eyes on bigger prizes. Obviously, a Nikita Tszyu fight would be exciting too. You've wanted Tim Tszyu at times. You would be thinking you get through this and there's something much bigger for you.
Man, there's only one reason I'm doing this is to be world champion, to be the man, to be the best. And anyone else that's playing games and doing anything else is joking themselves. Nikita, Tim, they're the top dogs in the division. They got the big name. So, of course, I'm aiming for the top. We've got big international fights that are being talked about. And man, anyone that wants it, I'll fight anyone here on stage right now. If Isaac wants to have a go, we've done rounds before. No, but that's who I am. I'm a fighter. I'm not playing games. I'm one of the realest people you'll meet in this game. And yeah, Ben Hussein just someone in my way.
All right, let's talk to Ben Hussein. Ben, welcome. Cohen's had a bit to say there. Anything you want to respond to?
Nah, not really. He just, he's a very confident man, and he's saying that he's going to knock my head in the second row. I want to give you some stats. So Cohen hasn't had a knockout in 3 years. That's the first one. Who's your best win, Cohen? What's your best win so far?
Wade or Joel, probably.
Okay. Yeah, so Wade's his best win, and it was close. And the Joel fights were close. My best win is Wade Ryan. Not Wade Ryan. What's his name? Someone give me the name.
No, this guy doesn't even know
Wes
what are you talking about, mate?
And Wes Kappa beat Wade Ryan. and I beat him very convincingly. Not on splits. I didn't lose. It hasn't been close, you know. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about him knocking my head into the second row. I don't reckon he could knock the candles off a cake.
What do you think you're going to do in this fight then? Because he's told us very clearly what he plans to do.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed on what he has planned to do, you know. He's saying that he's number 6 and he's gifting me the opportunity. The truth is, if No Limit believed in him, there'll be an international here. But I'm sitting here. And that shows the faith they have in you, huh? And I'm so confident I'll win, and you're confident you'll win, correct?
Yeah.
I reckon we put our purses on it. Come on now.
You know I'll do it, but you know it's not going to happen. You got a kid, don't you? You got a kid? You got a kid? And a family? Oh, he's hitting himself in the face with a mic. This guy can't speak. He can't fight. He doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know who he's for. He doesn't know. You got a family and a kid, don't you? You got a family and a kid?
Yep.
Why do you want to take food out of their mouth, bro? I don't want to take food out of your mouth. I'm going to keep it in there.
No, listen. This sounds like a scare man.
I'm going to take your health. I'm going to take your health. I'm going to take your record. You won't want to fight after this.
We can get contracts for this.
Hey, that's between you two.
Nah. Let's get contracts for this. I'm telling you, you're confident. You're confident, yes?
Yeah.
Why are you sitting there? Shake my hand. Let's do it.
But I said I'm not going to take food. If you want to do it, we can do it. But I don't want to take food out of your pants.
No, let's do it right now. You want to shake hands? Let's go.
As I said, that one's between you two. I'll pay you both. You've got to pay each other.
I don't want just a word. I want this in contract. I send all the money to the winner. I'm telling you, I'm winning.
And then winner can fight me.
Listen,
all the money.
Are you coming to 69?
Let's have a Royal Rumble. Fuck it. Let's go. Everyone in at once.
No jokes, though. I'm dead ass.
Yeah, same here, bro. As I said, if you want to take food out of your family's mouth, bro, it's on you.
Listen, brother. The food's going out of your mouth. You're going to be hungry. You're definitely going to be making weight.
Why are you so confident, Ben? What's happened to you that makes you this confident you're willing to bet it all?
Hey, listen, I'm just a confident man, and I know I've prepped good, and I know I've prepped hard, and in my gym we call him Coleman the Clock Watcher, because he does fade, and he's always looking at that clock, so we call him the Clock Watcher, Cohen. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put it on him, I'm telling you.
He calls himself the hype beast. I'm going to make him look all hype, no beast.
All right, that's the joke, brother. Come on now. It's spelled out for you. That was a good one.
Beast.
All right, that was a good one.
All right, well, looking forward to that one. Benjamin Hussein and Cohen Mazzudia.
That's it, baby. Let's try it.
It's good.
George, there's a bit going on here.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot. Hey, look, I love it. I love it, though, boys. I love this confidence. This is why I said I honestly think that this could be fight of the night. And, you know, they're willing to put it all on the line against each other, and I absolutely love it.
Make a contract for us, please.
We'll sort that out later. We might need to turn those microphones off, though, as we continue up to the top table. I'm going to start at the very end with Glenn Jennings. Glenn, you've got a couple of fighters here in Liam Wilson and Nikita Tszyu, and it's clearly going to be a very entertaining card.
It always is entertaining. No Limits seem to be the only ones who can stitch this sort of stuff together. It's gold. It's great to see these young blokes down the front here putting it all on the line, and that's what it's all about. They want to make statement fights. They're happy to hand over their purse. Good luck to them. Let them go at it, and all the more entertaining for the crowd. But as you said, I'm very, very proud to sit here representing these two young guys at these stage of their careers, and two of Australia's premier knockout artists sitting right here, Benny. So anything's possible with these guys, and it's great to see Liam Wilson come back on the back of the Navarrete loss, which we will forever dispute, but nevertheless, Liam, the roadmap forward for Liam's a very busy one, and we intend to have him back getting that belt that he belongs to and that he owns, that's currently being held by Navarrete early next year. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, tell us about Carlos Alanis, world number 13. He's undefeated in 12 from Argentina. Why is he a good opponent now for Liam Wilson?
Look, any of these guys that are ranked in the top 15 in this particular weight class are all class acts, mate. If you go down the list, they're all good fighters. They all bring something to the table, and for us, it was a matter of finding somebody that could challenge Liam and let him show that his confidence is back and that he belongs at the elite level. I think on the back of Navarrete, everyone agrees that Liam Wilson not only won the fight but belongs at the elite level, at world championship level. And so for us as a group with No Limits, it's just a process of building a roadmap to put him back there in the best position that we can.
As a manager of Tim Tszyu as well as Nikita, you'll remember well the build-up to the Jack Brubaker-Tim Tszyu fight. It was the first time we really saw Tim getting angry with an opponent. Jack clearly had an impact on him, and we saw the emergence of the soul taker. What do you think Jack's presence does for Nikita?
Oh, look, I love Jack. I think he's the ultimate presenter when it comes to boxing, and he brings something to the party that many don't. And anyone that thinks, like George said earlier, that Jack Brubaker's a pushover, this guy has a ton of experience. And from our perspective, it was all about putting Nikita in front of so many different options, different fighters and different styles. And to get Jack Brubaker at this time in Nikita's career, many say it's an easy fight for Nikita. I don't believe so. I think it's going to be a tough test. And I think Jack, knowing Jack who he is and how he likes to present himself, that he'll bring that entertainment 100%, and him and Nikita will put on a great show.
And it is an eliminator for the Australian Super Welterweight title, which is currently held by Dylan Biggs. What would an Australian title mean if Nikita can get through this fight and challenge for that?
Yeah, I think Nikita's very early in his career, and I think under most circumstances, Australian title might be a little bit further down the line, but Nikita's proven without a doubt that he's made the climb back into the pros very quickly and very successfully, and taken care of everybody that's in his way. And whilst from our team we expect him to do the same when he fights Jack, and then bounce straight back, and given the opportunity with no limits, we'd love to have Dylan Biggs when the opportunity arises.
Thank you so much, Glenn Jennings, and thanks for joining us here today. We're going to head now to Liam Wilson. As mentioned, he fights against Carlos Alanis, who is undefeated in 12. Liam's most recent fight, he challenged controversially for the world title in Arizona. And Liam, we rewatched that fight this morning and then drove here together. You were very quiet on the drive after having watched that. What was that experience like for you, having to put yourself back through that?
Yeah, it was. That was the first time I watched the fight back in a while. I haven't watched it since past the sixth round. You know, it's quite daunting. I feel like I could be sitting in today as a world champion, and I should be. I fell short in February against Navarrete, and you know, I'm just excited to be. I'm excited to be back here in my return fight. You know, showcasing my skills and getting back in the world title contention against another tough opponent. Like always, I'm always in the hard fights, and this is no different this time.
Is there any part of you that, sitting here today, even though you don't have the belt, feels a little bit like you are, or at least should be, a world champion?
Yeah, I should be the world champion. Valdez is fighting next weekend, and it should be Wilson versus Valdez. Unfortunately, it's not, but we'll get there. You know, I'm going to get a good decisive win here in good fashion, whether it be knockout or a boxing masterclass, and we'll get back in that contention for a world title.
You've had a bit of a look at Carlos Alanis. What have you made of him?
Yeah, he's a nice, neat boxer. You know, there's nothing I haven't seen before. He's basic. Look, I think my skills will ultimately come out on top. You know, I'm looking to make a statement.
Exciting for you to be a part of a show like this at a historic venue like the Hordern Pavilion, live on Main Event, and part of a double-header with an exciting fight like this.
Yeah, I feel very privileged to be a part of this show. Headlining with Nikita Tszyu, my teammate Ben Hussein. I'm very excited to get in there after a bit of a slow start to the year. I'm excited.
Well, it's great to have you back, Liam Wilson. Looking forward to seeing that fight and seeing the return of Liam Wilson on this huge show. And that takes us now to the fight between Nikita Tszyu and Jack Brubaker. Great to have you with us, Jack, who we'll start with. You had to make an entrance, didn't you?
No, I just had a bit of trouble tying my stallion up out the front. There's no parking for horses out here.
Did it have a flat tire or something?
No, I was finishing eating.
Jack, how did you feel last time out? We saw you against Troy O'Meara. We knew what was on the line. How did it feel to be back after well over 2 years out of the ring?
Yeah, it felt great to be back in the ring. The No Limit cards, they're amazing. They put on the best performances and the best fighters in Australia. So it was a pleasure to be on the card again. It was good. I knew the Nikita fight was there if I got through Troy. And Troy came out hard and fast. He threw a bunch of punches, but nothing landed. Nothing hurt me. I dropped him in the second round, and after that, I just knew I had to get through the fight, just box smart, land the clean shots, come out unscathed. Troy's a messy fighter. Like he gets cut easily against Wade. He gets cut. Wade got cut. I just didn't want to get a head clash and get caught in a brawl with him and miss the opportunity to fight Nikita here. So it was good. I felt good. I woke up the next day, felt like a solid sparring session, straight back in the gym, and you got that excitement to level up.
Do you feel like you've got a point to prove against the Tszyu family after having fought Tim a few years ago?
Oh man, I'd love to get one back on the Tszyu. I know Tim's gone exceptionally well in his career, and it was an honour to share the ring with him. And he's getting better and better every fight. But I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason. I enjoyed a couple of years off. I'm loving my gym again. I'm training at BTS. I'm hungry. I'm fresh. I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason, and this fight's come around at the perfect time.
What have you made of Nikita? I'm sure you've been watching closely. How do you think he compares to Tim?
Man, I think Nikita's a lot more entertaining. He likes to trade. He gets in there and, man, it's a perfect fight for me. I hope he comes and lets his hands go because that's when I'm at my best. And I feel like it has a Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler type of style to it. We're going to come out fast. I'm going to fight a lot differently to how I fought Troy. I've got nothing to lose now. It's the weight of the world and Australia's on Nikita's shoulders now. And he can sort of experience that. But, man, I'm just going to enjoy the experience. I feel good, man. I look good. I feel back. I've been in 23 wars, and man, I still look this good. So I'm looking forward to getting back in there.
You've pretty much talked your way into this fight, so is there anything you want to say to Nikita, who's now sitting just a couple of seats down?
I'm just looking forward to getting in there with him. I'm glad I'm in there boxing him in the ring. I'm glad Nikita's got a little bit of a weird vibe about him. I wouldn't go back to his house if he invited me over for a barbecue, I tell you that. But man,
I'd feed you some weird stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'd wake up with his dogs licking my toes out the back, tied up to a chair. So I know he's a strange cat, but man, he can fight. So I'm looking forward to putting on a good show, and man, it's going to be a cracker. Man, all these people that watch that performance against Troy, it's 2.5 years out of the ring, saying that, I'm not ready for Nikita. Man, I've been in 23 wars. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm ready. I'm hungry. This is a good fight. They're the same people that after Nikita fought Ben Horn were saying that Nikita wasn't ready for me. So it's just water off a duck's back, all these commenters, and I'm just going to prove myself, prove my family, prove my gym, prove Australia that I've got what it takes to be back on the top.
Nikita Tszyu, is that a fair assessment? You're a strange cat?
Pretty much, yeah. Like that's a very good description of me. I'd probably say the same thing about you. Like, it's not the usual kind of scene to see someone walking around with a cowboy hat and a belt buckle like that. But look, it's a beautiful personality that you have. You got like a little bubbliness to you, and yeah, I respect it. You're unique, and you own it. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
Can you respond to that?
Oh man,
bubbliness?
Anything, I'll take anything. I'm just not going back to his house for a barbecue.
Yeah, you got to take the compliments. You got to take the compliments.
Man, I'm full of compliments. I'll take them all as I get them. So thank you very much, and looking forward to sharing the ring.
Likewise.
And a barbecue potentially afterwards, Nikita. Would you like to extend the invitation now?
Nah, probably not. Sorry, I only bring my friends over, and yeah, not to be awkward or anything, but
that's all right. Have you got many friends, bud?
Yeah, I got a couple. I got 4 friends.
Four
good
Four's
mates
better
of
than
mine.
3.
Is that meant to mean something, or is it just...
Well,
this is
friends
going...
is better than 3 friends.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
3 friends is better than 2 friends.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought that was it.
Well, this is going into weird areas at the moment, but Nikita, tell us about this fight and what it represents to you, because I know that you felt after what you've done in recent times that you needed to go to the next level. You needed to step up the level of your opponent, and clearly Jack is that.
Yeah, this is definitely a massive step up for me. It's a step up from the... How many fights has he had? 23 fights, he just said?
Right, 23.
That's, yeah, definitely like twice as much as my most recent fights. So it's a huge step up for me in both experience and styles. He's a very durable fighter. He's been around the game for a very long time. I used to watch him spar George Kambosos at our gym when I was 14 years old. So I've known him for quite a long time. So it's good to get in there with someone that's who's been aging for a while. Not to say that you're old. You're like a fine wine.
Fine wine indeed.
Yeah.
Just keep going, Nikita, please.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
have you seen from Jack, not only in the ring over the road here the other night, but also his presence and the fact that he wants this fight? Where do you think he's at?
Yeah, I think he's ready for it as well. I'm not going to judge the most recent fight because, again, 2 years off, you're dusting off the cobwebs, as he said. As well, he's trying to stay durable, he's trying to not get any cuts. The Troy O'Malley fight would have been a war if he fought his regular style. So he knew that there is a possible fight in the future with me. So he did the kind of right style, right assessment, right adjustments, and I'm glad everything worked out the way it is.
Back at the Hordern Pavilion, you had a really tough night there against Ben Horn. Some people would see some similarity. Clearly, Jack has been around for longer and had a lot more fights, but he's a warrior, Jack Brubaker, much like Ben Horn, which you seem to have a bit to figure out.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I need these kind of fights. I need fights that push me into the deeper rounds. I don't like the first round knockouts. Like, they're good and all in maybe the later part of your career, but at the start you want to build the experience. So when those tough fights do happen, you're well adjusted. And this is a fight that I'm going to learn a lot from, a lot about myself. Look, the Ben Horn fight was the fight that I learned the most about myself. I had the biggest step up from that fight till the next. When I versed Dark and Dryden, I felt like I had changed gears completely because I got to really battle myself in that fight.
Jack clearly thinks he wins this fight. A lot of people think this fight goes the distance either way, but I know you'll be looking for a stoppage. Your brother stopped him in round 4. He's over there. Do you think you can do it faster?
Yeah, he beat my one-round stoppage last time, so 4's the aim, but we're ready for anything. We're ready for the whole 8-round distance. I've been sparring 8 rounds for quite some time now, and we've got a very high tempo, and yeah, we're ready for the dirtiest, hardest fight that we can possibly get.
And I'll leave it to you to finish. Anything you'd like to say, weird or otherwise, to Jack?
What's with the cowboy thing? Like, I've always been curious about this. I've never had any,
I grew up riding horses my whole life, so down Darks Forest Riding Ranch, that's my family business. And, yeah, man, I just enjoy the whole cowboy thing.
I respect that, yeah. Because you're from Cronulla, so I was like, it's weird that a cowboy will come from Cronulla, and I was always a little confused. I thought it was a bit of a gimmick, but I'm glad that we got this sorted.
I'm glad we could do that here. Thank you so much.
I'd take him for a horse ride, but I wouldn't want to be in the bushes alone with him.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll race him, man. I'm a little mental when it comes to adrenaline.
Yeah, no doubt. We might get these two to face off, which anything could happen here quite clearly. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming along to this official announcement press conference. It's been very, very entertaining indeed, but we're going to get these two fighters to face off, Nikita Tszyu and Jack Brubaker, and to repeat, Liam Wilson will fight against Carlos Alanis. It is a double-header. Wednesday, August 23, at the Hordern Pavilion in Sydney, live on Main Event Television, which, of course, you can access via Foxtel or KO. And this is the Butcher, Nikita Tszyu, and the Cowboy, Jack Brubaker. Thanks for your company here today. We eagerly await next week's fights, of course. Wednesday night, the 9th of August, you will see the head splitter back in action, Isaac Hardman, in a made-for-television event. And then 2 weeks after that, it is our pay-per-view brought to you by No Limit on Main Event Television, the Hordern Pavilion. And as we get Nikita and Jack to face the front, please, boys. Oh, they're deep in conversation now. And this is Nikita Tszyu and Jack Brubaker. I'm Ben Damon. I'll see you at the fights.
Yes, thanks very much, Ben. Gee, a very, very entertaining press conference. Nico Pajarillo joined by Tim Tszyu and also Pete Bedell. Tim, to you first. It was funny at times, very cordial and friendly at times as well. Your thoughts on what transpired on stage just now?
Between Nikita and Jack?
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of respect there. They're both funny characters, aren't they? They're both funny characters, and they both have two completely different personalities. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight.
Pete, what did you make from what you saw?
I'll tell you what, boys, can we have a reality show with Jack Brubaker? Let's go to Jack's house for a barbecue and see what Nikita comes up with. From what I hear Nikita's been eating lately, I wouldn't want to be part of his barbecue. Yeah. But look, guys, obviously, Ben Hussein is obviously a very confident man, and we've got Nikita here, so thanks for joining us, Nikita. Mm-hmm. You're very confident on stage. Can you get the job done this week, in a couple of weeks?
I'm ready for it. I've known about this opportunity or this possible fight for better half of a year now, so I'm glad we're finally getting it done. He's a very interesting character. He brings a lot of excitement to the sport, huge build-up, and this is the stuff that I've been really wanting and really been itching to have in a boxing fight.
Nikita, Jack said he's returning to the boxing ring to take revenge on the Tszyu family. How does that make you feel?
Well, it gives him a fire. That's good. That means that we could have a proper war, and he's known for his wars, so we'll really test that out. Test out how I go in a war as well.
Okay, what I find interesting is when you talk about levels, we've seen it with Tim. Every time there's a challenge, he goes up a level. You fought 17 rounds in your 6 fights. Jack Brubaker's had 146 rounds. That's a lot of experience. Do you think you're out of your depth here, or do you think you can get the job done?
I don't think I'm out of my depth. Experience only takes you a certain way. You gotta take these steps. You gotta take these risks in order to succeed. And when I was in my amateur days, I went to the World Championships in America, the Ringside World Championships, and I fought a guy with over 100 fights when I had only 6 fights. And although I lost the fights, I gave him one of the toughest fights he's ever had. And even the coach or his father came up to me afterwards and said, Who is this kid? And yeah, found out that I had only 6 fights, and it was in a world of shock. So I'm used to this kind of stuff. It's I live for this, like kind of the adrenaline, the scare, the challenge.
Well, Tim, Jack says Nikita's a more beatable version of you. I mean, how do you respond to that?
To Jack's comments about you don't know until you get in the ring. You know, Nikita's a completely different style. First of all, a southpaw. I don't think Jack has ever faced anyone like that, but at the same time, I don't think Nikita's faced anyone like Jack Brubaker. So that's what makes this fight so intriguing, you know. And he does have a bit of bad blood, I'd say, from myself, from the Tszyu name. So he definitely wants revenge of that, and you know, and Nikita's got a big battle ahead of him. But I'm more than sure that he's ready.
Nikita, is Jack underestimating the Butcher?
No, I don't think he's underestimating me at all. He's ready. He wants to get that real win. He wants to get that revenge, and he wants the big opportunity. And there's a lot of hype around my name, and this will be a huge thing for his future in boxing.
What about your confidence, Nikita? Because Tim fought Brubaker in his 15th fight. You're fighting him in your 7th. It's quite remarkable how rapid your evolution's been. Where do you want to go in boxing? Can you be a world champion? How good can you be? Because obviously Tim's set an amazing legacy with his father. Mm-hmm. Do you feel the pressure of their legacy, and how far do you want to go in the sport?
There's obviously a bit of pressure that comes with it. I'm not oblivious to that, but I'm taking one fight at a time. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but obviously the world title is the main goal that I'm working towards, but there's also little goals in between, and this is just another one of them, another step up, another mountain to climb.
Nikita, can we get a prediction? I mean, your brother finished Jack in 4 rounds. Do you reckon you could do it quicker?
Look, I hope so. But yeah, no. As I said before, like I'm ready for it to go the distance. I'm ready for whatever. I do a lot of imagination in my preparations, and I envision different ways of how the fight can go. So I'm ready for whatever happens.
And Tim, Ben Damon mentioned it. I mean, Jack seemed to annoy you in the lead up to your fight a number of years ago. Do you reckon it'll affect your brother?
You know what? I think the feeling's a bit different. Yeah. You know, watching Nikita and Jack at the press conference for this one, it was a completely different vibe to when me and Jack fought. There was a bit more tension. Nikita had that vibe against Ben Bomber, the annoyed feeling. Just that different feeling. So I can see a different side of Nikita. He's much more relaxed. But we know when he's under that pressure, such as his last fight, that's when he performs the best. So yeah, that's the real question. How's the nerves and feelings towards this fight for you, Nikita?
They're just they're probably the same as every other fight. I understand that there's so much at stake, and honestly, every single fight, if I lose, is basically game over for me. So I keep that in the back of my head, that there is no chance and no opportunity to kind of slow down or make any kind of mistakes, because it's going to cost me my whole career.
Nikita, we've got to thank you so much for your time today. We can't wait to see you in action, and go well.
Thank you. August 23rd, get your tickets, guys.
As we welcome in Jack Brubaker. Jack, thanks so much for your time, joining us right here on Fox League. Now, Jack, you said everything happens for a reason, and this fight is coming to you at the perfect time. Why do you think that?
I just feel like it's the perfect time of my career. Physically, I'm in good shape. I'm coming into the prime time of my physical ability. Man, mentally, I feel like I've been boxing professionally for 10, 11 years, and I just felt the last couple of years and the last sort of 3 or 4 fights, I had all the help in the world. I had the right trainers, I had the strength people, I had dietitians, and I couldn't put my finger on why I wasn't going as well as I was 4 or 5 years previously, when I just pretty much trained out of a backyard gym. And that's just because it just boiled down to just lost a little bit of a love for it. Again, boxing's a tough sport, and unless you're 100% dedicated and love that sport, it's too tough. Like, when I fought Stevie Spark, I lost 7 kilos in 16 hours to make the welterweight limit. And man, when you're sitting in the sauna and you're asking yourself the question of, man, why am I in here for 2.5 hours? Yeah, man, I love it. I'm hungry. I want to win this fight. I want to be a world champion. And I just sort of lost that the last couple fights, and I was sitting in the sauna and doing that hard weight cut, and I'm asking myself those questions, and I didn't have the answers.
Okay, Jack, do you feel you're going to get Nikita at a good time? I mean, he's still raw in his career. He's 25 years old. He's only had 6 fights. Do you think, with your experience, you've had 100 more rounds than him, is this a good time to pull off a boil over?
Oh, of course, yeah. Tim, mostly when I fought Tim, it was, I fought him at the right time for me then. Like, Tim's getting better and better every fight. He's levelling up every fight. So I'm glad I fought Tim when I fought Tim, and not now. But again, Nikita's had 7 fights, and it is, as you say, it's the perfect time to get in there. I'm hungry, I'm experienced. Again, I got through the Troy O'Meara fight unscathed, uninjured, and now, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Well, Tim, Jack is an opponent for whom you have tremendous respect. What does Nikita need to be wary of when facing Jack?
I think experience is a big part. This fight brings a new level of experience to Nikita's opponents. Again, Nikita used to watch Jack Brubaker sparring back in the days, so he's watched him over the years. From 14 years old, and Nikita now he's 25. That's nearly a decade, just over a decade of watching Jack. So, a decade of fighting, being in the gym, experience, someone who's had some time off to reflect, be able to have his hunger back, and get that motivation back. I think it's a very dangerous opponent for Nikita.
What about with Nikita, Jack? I mean, he's probably a different fighter to Tim. He can be a bit loose at times. He's got a power punch. He can really hurt opponents. But do you feel you can expose some gaps in his style and really do some damage?
I wouldn't say expose. I just feel like it's stylistically a better fight for me than Tim. Like, again, Nikita likes to calm. He's a lot more, again, as you say, loose, and likes to let his hands go. And again, I feel like I've been in the trenches. I've been in that many fights and that many wars, and I've been there for a lot of rounds in those moments. And Nikita's had a couple good tests. I feel like his last couple of opponents, while they've been good on paper, it's a big thing to step up here on main event and fight in front of a big crowd and have the cameras and that. So I feel like his last couple of opponents been a bit like a deer in headlights on the stage, and they come out and they're a little bit starstruck. But I don't know, Nikita, it's going to be an amazing fight. Again, I'm going to fight Nikita a lot differently to how I fought Troy. I'm going to come out and just let our fists and let our gloves do the talking.
Jack Brubaker, we can't wait to see you in action. Thank you so much for your time on Fox Sports.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having us.
As we welcome in Liam Wilson. Liam, thanks very much for joining us here today. Now, very calm and composed as always. I mean, how are fight preparations as you head into the final couple of weeks of camp?
Everything's gone really well. Training's been going 100%. I'm excited to make my return to the ring. It's been a while, 6 months now since my last fight, and I'm just ready to make a statement. I want to make a statement, win in good fashion, and get back in the role of world title contention.
Liam, I was with you in Arizona for that fight, and you're sitting in the crowd. I don't think I've ever seen a more heartbroken man than the day you that was so close, that world title, and we all felt for you that day because you probably did enough to win that world title. You were probably robbed in some cases, but what did you learn from that fight, and how much more hunger does that give you to conquer the summit?
I think now it's like sitting there and talking, and it ultimately gives me heaps of motivation to fight and chase my dreams to be world champion. I was so close, but the way things played out, my hand didn't get raised. I want to get back in there, so I want to get back in there and fight. I want a rematch. That's what I want. Yeah, with a rematch and fight whoever's in front of me on the way there.
So you'd love to fight Navarrete again, would you?
I'd love to. Like I said before, it's Valdez versus Navarrete, but it should be Valdez versus Wilson. I think Navarrete gets past Valdez, and hopefully down the track maybe we can link up and get the rematch underway.
Tim, what was going through your mind when Liam took on Navarrete?
Well, what round was it? Round 4? Round 4. I was jumping out of my seat, man. I was jumping out of my seat. I thought, that's it, it's about to be finished. Liam Wilson's going to be the next world champ. And yeah, just ripped apart. But look, I love the attitude of Liam. He's not dwelling in the past. He's embracing the future, and he's embracing it with open arms and just taking it. To come back now to a fight with the Argentinian undefeated, number 12 rated, that just shows who he is as a person and who he is as a fighter. A true blood, guts warrior. Reminds me of the good old boxing days of the Juan Manuel Marquez's, that type of era, that boxing era. A true boxer at heart. And I love seeing that. And, talking about how he wants Navarrete again, who is the man of the division, He doesn't want the easy champions, he wants the hardest ones, and that's the attitude to have.
Well, Liam, looking forward to this fight against Carlos Alanis. He is 12-0, undefeated. All 4 of his knockouts have come by way of body shot. How has that affected preparation for this fight?
Yeah, look, he's a good, sharp boxer, and he has a good body shot, good left rip, and the team and I, we've identified that. In the gym, we're working on, eliminating the body shot.
What about your body shot?
Yeah.
He's got the body shot.
Yeah, I know.
The left hook from hell, isn't it?
No, I used to have the body shot. I need to bring it back into play. And, I'm excited for this one. It's a good, tough test. Like always throughout my career, I've taken the hard opponents. Any fight they put in front of me, I usually take. And once again, we've got another tough competitor in front of us. He's a world-rated opponent. And, I know a good statement here will put me back in world title contention.
You talk about tough opponents, Liam. I know after you lost to Navarrete, you talked about maybe fighting George Kambosos. Is it still a guy, would you go up to lightweight and be prepared to have a crack at George one day?
I'd love that fight. I really would. I think the Australian fans deserve all Australian showdown, and I think, I'm up for it. I presume he would be up for it as well, and it's what the fight fans of Australia would love to see. So for me, that's a fight I'd love to have. I'd be willing to go up to lightweight if he wants to take it. Like I said, I'm happy to move up. I love that fight, yeah.
Liam Wilson, we can't wait for what's ahead. Thank you so much for your time. All the best in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I tell you what, it was an absolutely incredible press conference, very exciting, and it's a hell of a card to look forward to. These No Limit shows always put on quite the show, don't they?
Oh, there's no other promoter in the business here in Australia than No Limit, and it's great to have the support of Fox to be able to put on these shows, and Australian boxing's back on the map, because of these guys.
Pete?
I've got to say, this is probably the best domestic card I've seen in years, guys. I mean, you look, this is a stacked card. This is not just a great main event with Nikita and Brubaker, but what about Ben Hussein and Mazzuti? They are quality fighters, and Ben's obviously a rich man because he's putting his money in his purse up for this, so maybe Tim can have some of it for his Ferrari. But look, yeah, it's going to be a great card. I think Brubaker can pull off a boil over, I really do, but I shouldn't say that with Tim here. But Nikita's on the rise. It's going to be a cracker. I can't wait.
Well, speaking of big money fights, Tim, we're about to say goodbye, but before we let you go, it'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the fight just gone this weekend past Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. What did you make of that contest?
Impressive by Crawford. But I heard the boys are wanting to come up to 154. And they all know who the boogeyman of the division is. I'm waiting.
Would you fancy yourself in a fight between, yourself and Terence Crawford?
I would love to. You know. Number one pound for pound fighter. If I get the opportunity to get my hands on something like that, I'm taking it with both hands, both arms.
Why do you think he can beat Crawford, Tim?
You should ask him the question, why do you think he can beat me? That's the real question. So I think I believe in myself, you know. I believe in myself, I believe in my abilities, and I'm getting better and better each time. And me and Crawford got that same type of attitude, and I'm a big fan of his. But again, I'm a dangerous man as well, so they better watch out.
Strength to strength, Tim. We can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you as well, Pete. We appreciate you joining us here on Fox Sports. Thank you at home for watching. Don't forget, you can order the fight August 23rd. It is mainevent.com.au. We'll see you there.
Fox League is taking you back to the glitz, hits and glamour of rugby league's glory days.
Old-fashioned rugby league at its best. Mr. Glasgow, that'll happen to you.
Retro round on Fox League.